Phillipsburg School Board meeting, January 5th, 2023. Complete meeting.
We'll go ahead and start the meeting tonight. This is a reorganization meeting. It's a little different than other meetings. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Stacy Horn, the business administrator. We begin the meeting until we seat the board members, and then once we seat the board members, the new board members, we will then elect the president and the vice president. At that time, we will turn the meeting over to them, and we will finish the meeting at that point in time. So with that being said, I will read the notice of the public meeting. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed and acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Phillipsburg Board of Education has caused notice of the January 5th, 2023 meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on the district website and in the Phillipsburg Municipal Building lobby and filed with the Phillipsburg Town Clerk on January 7th, 2022. And published in the Express Times, New Jersey Zone, and the Star Ledger on January 13th, 2022. We're going to move on then to do the Pledge of Allegiance. If we can all stand and do the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So the official announcement of the annual school election results for the 3-year term, we had Vicki Mendez Branch with 1,812 votes, Joshua Waniska with 1,533 votes, Walter Mickey Pearson with 1,481 votes, and Javier Rojas with 1,303 votes. For the 2-year unexpired term, we had Sarah Mendoza with 2,022 votes. And for the 1-year unexpired term, we had Nancy Nelson with 2,018 votes. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and start with the oath of offices. We have the Honorable Judge Curry that's here. We're going to go just in order that we just read them as far as the votes. So with that, we'll start with Mrs. Mendez Branch. If you'd like to come up and have any of your family members come up front here to the microphone so you can be sworn in.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. There you go. Got them. Are you good? Okay. Just be here. We're singing. Okay. All right. All you have to do is repeat after me. 3 times. Should I? You put your left hand on the bottom. Raise your right hand. I state my name.
I, Vicki Mendez Branch,
Do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution
I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and this state
and this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Halfway there. I state your name.
I, Vicki Mendez Branch,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office
for the office
of member of a Board of Education,
one more time.
of member
Of member
of a Board of Education,
Board of Education,
and that I
and that I
am not disqualified
am not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to
pursuant to
RS 19:4-1,
RS 19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to conviction of a crime or offense
due to conviction of a crime or offense
listed in
listed in
NJS
NJS
18A:
18A:
12-1,
12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Next, if we have Mr. Joshua Winiska.
How are you? Okay, good. All ready? Raise your right hand. Repeat after me.
I,
State your name.
Joshua Winiska,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Joshua Winiska,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of a Board of Education,
member of a Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
and that I am not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to
pursuant to
RS 19:4-1,
RS 19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to conviction of a crime
due to conviction of a crime
or offense
or offense
listed in NJS
listed in NJS
18A:12-1,
18A:12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all of the duties
all of the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, next we have Walter Mickey Pearson.
All right, so you're going to put your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
Walter Mickey Pearson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true
and that I will bear true
faith and allegiance
faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, and state your name again,
I, Walter Mickey Pearson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office
for the office
of member of a Board of Education,
of a member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
and that I am not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to RS
pursuant to RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to a conviction of a crime
due to a conviction of a crime
or offense
or offense
listed in NJS
listed in NJS
18A:12-1,
18A:12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all of the duties
all of the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, next we have Sarah Mendoza.
All right. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Sarah Mendoza,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
And I state your name again.
I, Sarah Mendoza,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of a Board of Education,
Member of Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
and that I am not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to
pursuant to
RS 19:4-1,
RS 19:4-1,
nor disqualified
or disqualified
due to conviction of a crime
due to conviction of a crime
or offense
or offense
listed in
listed in
NJS
NJS
18A
18A-12-1,
12-1, and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all of the duties of that office
all of the duties of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, and last rep from Phillipsburg, Nancy Nelson.
All set? Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nancy Nelson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and this state
and this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people.
so help me God. I state your name.
I, Nancy Nelson,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I do possess the qualifications
that I do possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of the Board of Education,
Member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
I am not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to RS
pursuant to RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
undisqualified
due to conviction of a crime
to conviction of crime
or offense
or offense
listed in
listed in
NJS
NJS
18A 12-1,
12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me.
Congratulations.
Okay, that takes care of our Phillipsburg Board of Education reps. We have two more from sending districts. So we will start with Mr. Kevin Bain from Greenwich.
No entourage for me. It's
No
my
entourage.
it's my 11th time, so it's like, not that I have to memorize
Did you memorize
anything.
it?
I don't have to memorize it.
I never will.
It's,
Oh, good. All right. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Kevin May,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United
and
States
the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New
of
Jersey,
the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United
and
States
in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Kevin May,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of the Board of Education,
member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
and that I am not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to RS
pursuant to RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to a conviction of a crime
due to conviction of a crime
or offense
or offense
listed in NJS
listed in NJS
18A
18A
12-1,
12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all of the duties
all the duties
of that office
of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
And finally, number 7, lucky number 7, Mr. Dave Scheibel from LoPACCom.
I state your name.
I, Dave Schottel,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey.
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I
I,
state your name.
Dave Schottel,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications
that I possess the qualifications
prescribed by law
prescribed by law
for the office of
for the office of
member of the Board of Education,
member of the Board of Education,
and that I am not disqualified
and that I am not disqualified
as a voter
as a voter
pursuant to
pursuant to
RS
RS
19:4-1,
19:4-1,
nor disqualified
nor disqualified
due to conviction of a crime
due to conviction of crime
or offense
or offense
listed in NJS
listed in NJS
18A
18A
12-1,
12-1,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all of the duties of that office
all of the duties of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and take a roll call. Mr. Case?
Present.
Mrs. Mendez Branch?
Here.
Mrs. Mendoza? Here. Mrs. Nelson?
Here.
Mrs. Person?
Here.
Mr. Pearson?
Here.
Mr. Shelley?
Here.
Mr. Winisco?
Here.
Mr. Zegra?
Here.
Mr. Bain?
Here.
And Mr. Scheibel?
Here.
Okay, with that, we're going to go ahead and open nominations for president. So can I get a motion for nominations for president?
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
So at this time, I will call for motions to open nominations for president.
Second.
Do we have any nominations, please?
I nominate Rosemary Person.
Mr. Zegra? Do we have any nominations, Steve?
I'll second that.
And no other nominations. Can I get a motion to close nominations for president? Okay, with that, let's take a roll call for Mrs. Person for president of the Phillipsburg Board of Education. Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mrs. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Shelley?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mrs. Person?
Yes.
Mr. Winisco?
Yes.
Mrs. Mendez Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Zegra?
Yes.
Mrs. Mendoza?
Yes.
And Mr. Scheibel?
Yes.
Congratulations, Mrs. Person. With that, can I get a nomination to open, a motion to open nominations for vice president? Mr. Case? And a second?
Second.
Okay, at this time, do I have nominations for vice president?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Zaber. I second that.
Mrs. Mendoza, you second that? Do I have any other nominations for vice president? Okay, with that, can I get a motion to close nominations for vice president?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Pearson, Mr. Shelley. Okay, so we will now take a roll call vote for Mr. Zegra for vice president of the Phillipsburg Board of Education. Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mrs. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Shelley?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mrs. Person?
Yes.
Mr. Winisco?
Yes.
Mrs. Mendez Branch?
That's a tough choice.
Don't have another choice. Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Zegra?
Yes.
Mrs. Mendoza? Yes. And Mr. Scheibel?
Yes.
With that, my time as leaving this meeting is over. I will now turn this over to the president and the vice president, Mrs. Person and Mr. Zegra. If you want to assume your seats up here. Mr. Zegra, that's going to be difficult. I guess we have, we'll have to move Mr. Scheibel over to where Mrs. Person is. Oh, wait, never mind. Mr. Chops is going to move. You can stay right there. He's good. No, we're good. We're good.
Once in a while, we used to show the same design. Believe it or not.
That's on the outside. So I'm not walking around there.
That's okay.
I do that after the meeting.
Thank you, everyone, for allowing me to be your president one more time. I do appreciate your support.
As well. Thank you all.
Okay, first thing up is public comments and agenda items. If there's anybody out in the public that has any comments on anything on the agenda, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, so now I'm moving on.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
I was going to make a comment.
Sure. Agenda items, Mr. Morissette?
Yes, yep. David Morissette, 5 Fairview Heights, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Oh, thank you, Kyle. Wow, makes a difference. David Morissette, 5 Fairview Heights, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. I noticed that you have on the agenda that you're approving the media, newspapers of record. And I think it would be a great idea to consider adding into newspapers of record, although it's not an official newspaper, it's something that the town has done, and that's adding it Tap Into. It is a very widely read online periodical inside New Jersey, inside Phillipsburg and the surrounding area. So I encourage you to consider amending and adding that. It wouldn't cost you any money, I don't believe, and I believe there's somebody from Tap Into here that can answer any questions should you have.
Thank you, Mr. Morissette. We are already going to do that anyway, but thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Okay, moving on to Business Affairs Extended Board. We're going from 7.01 to 7.10. 7.01, move to approve the meeting dates, time, and place as recommended. 7.02, move to acknowledge that the Phillipsburg Board of Education shall, during the ensuing school year, operate and function under the policies established by prior boards of education. 7.03, move to adopt Robert's Rules of Order as the official parliamentary procedure manual to be used to conduct meetings and appoint the board secretary and the board attorney to act as the parliamentarians from January 5th, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. 7.04, move to designate the Express Times New Jersey as the official newspaper of record and designate the Star Ledger as secondary newspaper for publication of board meetings. 7.05, move that all current written policies, bylaws, rules, regulations, and the official policy manual of the Phillipsburg Board of Education be re-adopted for the period from the date of this reorganization meeting until the reorganization meeting in the next calendar year, unless modified by the Board of Education in accordance with these applicable policies, bylaws, and/or rules, regulations. 7.06, move to approve that all current written curriculum, courses, textbooks, workbooks, and ancillary materials of the district be adopted for the period from this date of the organization meeting until the organization meeting in the next calendar year. 7.07, move to approve that the board authorizes the business administrator, board secretary, to approve line item transfers as necessary between board meetings, and such transfers shall be reported to the Board of Education, ratified and duly recorded in the minutes of the next regular meeting pursuant to NJSA 18A:222-8.1. 7.08, move to authorize the business administrator, board secretary to approve the payment of bills between board meetings pursuant to NJSA 18A:19-4.1. Such warrants shall be presented to the board at the next regular board meeting for ratification. 7.09, move to approve the travel and expense reimbursement. In 7.10, move to approve the depositories and authorize the following signatures on the 2023 accounts maintained by the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments?
I have something.
Vicki?
Just a question about the meeting dates.
Yes.
We have October 9th, and that's Indigenous Peoples' Day, Women's Day, Organic School Day.
You said October, Vicki?
October 9th.
Yeah.
I know we had discussed before about having meetings on Halloween and days off. I just went over. Okay.
Thanks, Susan.
Thank you.
Anything else, Vicki?
That's okay. I'm like,
Anything else, Vicki?
no, that's it.
Anyone else? Questions or comments? Okay, roll call, Mrs. Thorne?
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mr. Case?
Yes.
Mrs. Mendez Branch?
Yes.
Mrs. Mendoza?
Yes.
Mrs. Nelson? Yes. Mrs. Person?
Yes.
Mr. Pearson?
Yes.
Mr. Scheibel?
Yes.
Mr. Shelley?
Yes.
Mr. Wanisco?
Yes.
And Mr. Zager?
Yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Thorne. Moving on to the Code of Ethics. Mrs. Patty has given everybody a folder with the Code of Ethics inside of it, so if you will get that out. And we'll go around the table and read them. Kevin, I'll start with you, if you'll read the first one.
Does that mean I gotta go twice? All right. I will uphold, my voice is loud. I will uphold and enforce all laws, rules, and regulations of the State Board of Education and court orders pertaining to schools. Desired changes should be brought about only through legal and ethical procedures.
Second.
I will make decisions in terms of the educational welfare of children and will seek to develop and maintain public schools which meet the individual needs of all children, regardless of their ability, race, creed, sex, or social standing.
Nancy?
Go ahead, Jim.
I'm sorry, Jim. Yes.
I will confine my board action to policymaking, planning, and appraisal, and I will help to frame policies and plans only after the board has consulted those who will be affected by them.
Now, Nancy?
I will carry out my responsibility not to administer this school, but together with my fellow board members, to see that they are well run.
Tim?
I will recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education and will make no personal promises nor take any private action which may compromise the board.
Rob? I'm sorry, Dave?
I will refuse to surrender my independent judgment to special interests or partisan political groups or to use the schools for personal gain or the gain of friends.
Rob?
I will hold confidential all matters pertaining to the schools which are disclosed would needlessly injure individuals or the schools. But in all other matters, I will provide accurate information and in concert with my fellow board members, interpret to the staff and aspirations of the community for the schools.
Mickey?
I will vote to appoint the best qualified personnel available after consideration of the recommendation of the superintendent.
Josh?
I will support and protect school personnel in proper performance of their duties.
And Vicky?
I will refer all complaints to the superintendent and will act on such complaints at public meetings only after failure of an administrative solution.
Thank you, everyone. Mrs. Thorne, communications to the board?
Sure, very easy tonight. Our next meeting is, our first official meeting here of the year is January 23rd at 7 p.m. here in the Education Center. Hopefully by then we'll have committees that will be formed to get that information out to you. Mrs. Mendez Branch is lucky enough to have the first bills review for January here. I'm sure she's excited about that. And as always, I have to publicly thank my secretary, Terry Patty, for handling all the paperwork tonight, because we all know I would have had to sign papers that we would have lost. Thanks.
Hey, Stacy, before we go on, I was just reminded by Katie that I forgot to move that motion for the, Robert's rules, for the Code of Ethics. So can I have a motion from someone?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Dr. Trousel, Superintendent's report.
I have nothing this evening other than to congratulate the new board members and just to note that I don't believe there's anything more important in the daily operations of the school district and the Board of Education and the superintendent to have a high quality working relationship. So as we begin a new board term, I just want to pledge my continued efforts to work tirelessly for all the board members. If anybody ever has any questions, feel free to call me. Everybody has my cell phone. Board members have my cell phone numbers, and continue to work as hard as we can with students. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Trousel. Moving on to public comment. Does anybody in the audience like to say anything about anything? Please go to the podium. You have 3 minutes to speak, and please state your name and address. Seeing no one, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Congratulations to all the people that received this day, and thank you for coming, and have a wonderful evening and drive safe.